Okay, can I do this in 10 minutes? Let's find out. So, newest draft of the Kung Fu fighting system. So, I have some notes, as you can tell, and this has been a long time coming. Alright, so, first order of business. First order of business. I have simplified and streamlined the way the chakra work. Now you can simply open as many chakra as you have, it's 7 total, and you begin the fight with a small number that already are working. And these are always working, and the implication for that out of combat is that you can use the magic that they give you to pay for your kung fu techniques and use them as skills or to destroy stuff. So that's what that's all about. Powering up has kind of a mana curve now. You simply get a new chakra opened every round to encourage you to wait till later rounds for the more powerful stuff. Additionally, the amount that they give you initially versus the amount that they recover at the end of the round is way different. Now the recovery is really high. As a matter of fact, it's twice as much as they give you to discourage alpha strikes and to encourage power-up sequences. It also should help extend fights a little bit later. So that's how that paradigm works. There are 3 distinct tiers to how much you get. The first 3 degrees are the lowest. The middle, which is 4 through 7, are considerably higher, and then the last 2, the 8th and 9th degree, have a significant amount. So that depends there. Also, as you go through the degrees, you will have more open chakra initially. Again, now there are no such thing as closed chakra. You have access to all of your chakra as long as you are willing to take the time to open them. Out of combat, this makes you glow with a big old bonfire and makes you very obvious to bad guys, hence more encounter throws and more bad guys showing up to kill you. In combat, it simply takes time or it takes sets to open them up. So there's now a standardized amount that they open up for and will give you every round. Instead of it being based on the set that you get or the facing of the set, it's just if you have a spirit action of rank 2 or higher, you open a chakra. You also open one for free every round. So eventually everyone's going to get all 7 chakra and be as blazy as they can be. So that's how that works now. It definitely encourages combats to last longer. That, in addition to the more robust characters that we've made, we've given them more health, more aura, and a new couple of swerves on how the injuries are going to work should make combats last considerably longer. And it should encourage you to fight more often because it's a little easier now to recover from injury. And even though injuries can be pretty significant, they don't utterly annihilate you. They give you some different ways of fighting. Okay. Second thing, techniques themselves now have standardized costs and effects as far as attacking and defending and the balanced, which have both. So they are keyed to different to limbs or not as an element of that cost. The assumption that the basic cost has to do with at least 1 or 2 limbs, like 1.5 to 2 limbs that are functional, and whether they are offensive or defensive, what range that they have in their facings, and how many ranks they add. So that's all very standardized, and deviating from that alters the costing and utility of techniques. And the techniques, as they are present within a style, therefore have their own unique tactical character. So that was pretty easy to do. Form techniques are available at the bottom rung on every single Kung Fu style now, and they simply allow you to roll certain facings and get certain small benefits about in line with what a weapon can do. They're not quite as versatile as weapons. As you know, weapons work with any set. These only work with certain facings. So if you learn more, you simply have more options for your dice as you roll them, which is a pretty useful thing to have, but none of them are so game-breaking that they'll really alter the character of combat. Effortless is now your standard defense, and it can be pretty significantly high. The core goes around those same tiers I mentioned before. The lowest ones are 1, the wide middle is 2, and the last 2 are 3. So you have 1, 2, and 3 for effortless, and you simply add your armor onto that to make a base flat AC. Therefore, your standing defense is pretty significant, and there's a greater chance of surviving earlier, weaker attacks. But there's still an incentive to use larger sets to defend yourself against really significant, more deadly expert and master techniques. All right, regarding those, they now, instead of increasing by 2, the the expert level techniques, instead of increasing by 2, now increase by 3, so they're a little chubbier. Masters now increase by 5, so they are significantly more powerful than before. Supremes now increase by 7, which is ridiculous. But now that the effect chart has been more or less doubled from 8 results to 14 results, not quite double, but it's pretty close. It is much harder to get those more powerful game-changing results, and they're much rarer, especially in the early game, which is about what we want. So, expert level techniques are now a little rarer in combat, but they have a bigger effect. Expert and master techniques have also been keyed to be more functional against multiple opponents because they are boss techniques. Now, they work exactly the same for bosses and player characters, but the boss gets an unequal benefit out of them because usually it's one powerful boss versus 4 weaker PCs, or somewhere thereabout, usually 3 or 4 PCs. So, when the boss uses his master level technique, he is able to hit as many dudes as he wants with it. When the PCs can do that, they can also hit as many dudes as they want. They simply have less to hit. So, technically that's an uneven functionality that favors the boss, but it does help to bridge the power gap between all of these dice pools and all of this prana and all of this health versus this single one, which is a much easier point of failure. But it does wind up, hopefully, we'll have to test this, but hopefully it winds up in more interesting, engaging, and cinematic combats that last longer and feel a little more dangerous. Right now they're curb stomps in favor of the players. I'm hoping to make that a little more balanced so it feels like that individual players and the party as a whole can fail against single individual powerful bosses. So we'll see. We'll see if that works. That's most of what I have been doing today with the standardized costing and standardized effects of most techniques. It should be relatively easy to transfer the 12 out of 14 styles I've redesigned into usable techniques for you guys almost immediately. So we're going to be doing that over the next little bit, and I'm going to design those last 2, and we should have a pretty good Prana Paradigm, new degree charts, those Kung Fu techniques, and a couple of slightly updated rules for how injuries work, all ready for you. So that's going to be the core of the game. We've already done new movement and content rules, and we're going to refine those a little bit. So between all of those things, we should have the spine of the system done. It should be there. The only thing that we're missing that doesn't really have like a really solid subsystem is experience points, which I've got an idea for. I just haven't written it down. That's basically going to be goal-based. You know, you take a quest, you go do the quest, you get XP. So that's pretty straightforward. And beyond that, I think that's the core. I think once we have that as the spine written down, and I don't know how much of that I can get done today, but probably a lot of it, I'm going to toss it up on the Patreon. The next stage after that to complete this project is going to be monsters and vehicles and stuff. And the stuff is going to be the lore sheets, the places that the clans live, their philosophies, some stuff that they're up to that will help you to basically give you building blocks for which you can make your own campaign. Also, I would like to have a little setting that shows you how all that stuff can fit together as an example, like some kind of like Brokeback Adventure Valley that you could go and fight in. I might not have the resources and time to get that done prior to the Kickstarter, but we'll see. But yeah, we finally are scenting the end of the project. Like, it's really within grasp finally, and I'm very excited. And I managed to get all that in under 10 minutes, so clearly I was bloviating the first time I tried to do this and uploaded it to YouTube, wasting 2 hours of my time today. Good job, me. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and get prepared for a shit ton of Patreon dumps. And then over the next few weeks, you're going to start seeing the Kickstarter rev up. So get those wallets ready, because it's going to be a doozy.